Have you ever been offended? Has anybody ever said anything ignorant to you? Well, today we're going to talk about what to do when you're offended. Welcome to Living Life Strong, where I give you powerful tips on how to happen to your life instead of your life happening to you. You know, in the relationships within your life, whether it be parenting, whether it be being a student or at work, relationships, you always make allowance for other people's faults. We need to. Paul says, make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anybody that offends you. Well, that's really easy to say, but it's very, very hard to do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to unpack this together. First of all, is that making allowance for faults means that we enter the relationships with the expectation that people are not perfect. Now, maybe this seems like kind of a pessimistic approach to relationships, but when we're honest with ourselves, the question is, how often do we hold people to this expectation, unrealistic, which honestly begins to mess up our relationships? And I think a perfect example of this is when Jesus actually tells Peter at the Last Supper, he said, this very night before the rooster crows, you're going to deny me 3 times that you even know me. And if you know the story, that's what Peter actually does. And so Jesus has this expectation that the people around him are going to mess up at times. And so Jesus makes allowance for their faults and not only forgives Peter, but actually turns him into one of the greatest leaders within the church. And also, making allowance for faults, that means that we have to choose to be proactive in our forgiveness. Not reactive, but proactive. Look, if we know that people are going to mess up, then we don't have to wait for them to ask for forgiveness. In Matthew 18, Peter and Jesus, to Jesus again, Peter comes to Jesus and says, how often do I have to forgive people? Do I have to forgive them 7 times? And Jesus says, nope, 70 times 7. And so when you think about that, that's a lot of forgiveness. But what Jesus was saying was how to be proactive in forgiveness. Because making allowance for fault is the natural response of somebody who has been forgiven. And we've all been forgiven by Jesus. And so maybe you're listening to this and you say, you know what, Micah, this is impossible. How can somebody just live forgiving everybody for everything that they do? Well, that's only natural if we understand how much we've been forgiven. And the second part of Colossians 3:13 said this, remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. You see, there is something about being a Christ follower when we understand what Jesus has really done for us, when we understand that he took on our sins on the cross and he died for us and our sins. We didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve forgiveness at all. We didn't earn it at all. But he made allowance for our faults when he died for us. And in response to that, we should make allowance for other people's faults. And it will change your world if you do it. Have a great day and live life strong.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow Living Word on social media. We post content each and every week and you don't want to miss out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Instagram, and make sure to turn on notifications for all 3 so you'll receive the latest news, updates, and content right at your fingertips.